So look, it's going to be a end of season review and touch on the season as a whole. We started off the season, well, end of pre-season with a loss to Hitchin Town. At that point, what are you expecting from the season?
No, I never read anything into pre-seasons. I have to say, I always feel that it's about getting minutes and ensuring that you're coming out of games with no injuries. We dovetailed the squad on that day to give people opportunities of earning a deal, and the first half performance was lacklustre. And mentally, I felt that was a poor reaction from the 3 or 4 that we were looking at to confirm whether they were going to come on the journey with us. Then obviously at half time I brought in, or on should I say, 4 of our mainstay players, and we went and had a better performance. And for me, the season's never reflective of your pre-season in my opinion, because I've been at clubs when I played and had the best pre-season, beating pro sides left, right and centre, and then started the season, didn't win our first 8, and then flip it where we've been slapped throughout the whole of pre-season, and then we go on a run where we're unbeaten until Christmas. So for me, nothing was read into the Hitchin performance. The result is always about getting them to a level and ensuring that when it comes to the start of the season, they're fit and firing.
And at the start of the season, we were 7 games unbeaten, and then we did lose to Solihull. At that point in the season, we just lost to Solihull. Did you know how good they were back then?
Solihull, I think they're an excellent side with an excellent manager. I've watched them closely in the last few days. He signs real good personnel, knows the level inside out. He has a pool of players the leagues above and the leagues above that because of his experience being with AFC Wimbledon. So he knows his sort of scouting network is very broad, and you can see that in the personnel he brings in. And they're a phenomenal side. They're my outside bet. I have to say, they're my outside bet for the playoffs, and I don't want to put no pressure on Neil. I love Neil, I think he's brilliant, and the way his teams play are fantastic, and it's going to be a tough test on Sunday for sure. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in our performance on that day. I felt that we were the masters of our own downfall. The way we conceded the goals were poor, and I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win, but there's a manner of winning and a manner of losing. I felt we lost the game as opposed to Solihull winning it, and that was a frustration for us on the day, but we wiped our mouth and moved on and went on another great run.
Yeah, and following that, we had Chesterfield a few weeks later that we lost to, but then we went 17 unbeaten in all competitions. At the pinnacle of that 17 unbeaten run, did you think that playoffs were a minimum?
Yeah, I did. Spoke to the chairman and Charlie about it. We have to completely capitulate if we are to fall out of the top 7, and that's what we did. And I'm laughing because I can't work on a what if, I've got to work on a what is, and the what is we're currently 9th, we have a game to play on Sunday, and we can get our joint 2nd best points return in the National League. And I have to look at that as a positive, but I'll do a review of my own. I'll do a post-mortem where I'll go through key moments in the season, injuries at that time, recruitment, could we have brought in 3 or 4 other bodies to supplement what we was doing due to the lack of personnel we had available for selection. But yeah, in terms of that, when we went them 17 unbeaten and we was at the pinnacle as you suggested, I honestly felt that for us to fall out of the playoffs would have taken some doing, and unfortunately for us that's the case.
And there's been some magical moments this season, with Everton away being the main one. If you could go back now, and you've mentioned ifs and buts and maybes, but would you change anything? If you could replay that game against Everton, would you do anything differently?
You can always do something different. In a game against Everton, I don't think I would have done. I got asked a question on BT Sport the other day off camera. I've been dying to ask you, every time we cross paths, we'll always do in a game when you're playing the game at BT Sport, and I never felt it would be the appropriate time to do so, and that was, would you change what you did at Wembley against Tranmere? 100%. In terms of the Everton game, no. I'd play Mark Ricketts again, I'd play Kane Smith again, I'd have the same setup again. I genuinely believe you go to Everton and the calibre of personnel they have, you open up against them, they could hit you for 6 and 7. And I didn't want to be demoralised. I felt that was glorious in defeat, the manner in which we've gone and got beat by Everton. We didn't get felt, we didn't get slapped. We stayed in the game as best we can. Did we create or cause them any issues? Not once. But I've got to be honest with you, I was in awe watching them when doing the pre-analysis stuff, and then on the day, it was unbelievable. And I wouldn't change Everton in any way, shape or form. I'd most definitely change Tranmere now, but not Everton.
And following Everton, we were 10 games without a win, very contrary to the start of the season. At what point did you begin to think that the playoff run for us was over?
It was over when it was mathematically over. We was always fighting to try and get as many points on the board as possible to stay in with a shout. We go to Yeovil on Saturday and we're 2-0 up, and you get whispers because players talk, fans talk, and you hear the scoreline against Chesterfield Torquay, you hear the scoreline Solihull Wrexham, and you think if you can hold on here and go to Grimsby and nick a win, you're a point behind Chesterfield and Grimsby going into the last game. And obviously we drew. Mathematically it was still on the cards, but there was a 12-14 goal swing, so unless you're Bristol Rovers it was never going to happen. And then on Tuesday evening, that was it. Last nail in the coffin. Playoffs, hopes and dreams were over. But again, you've asked me before, I'd never change our cup run, FA Cup run, for a playoff spot. Not in a million years. Not even close. If you offered me 2 and 3, it'd be a lot harder to turn down, but I wouldn't. If you offered me promotion for the FA Cup run, I'd take promotion all day long. I just think the FA Cup run was amazing. Best times of my life by a country mile. Galvanised the town, a community. I still get messages from people, local people, fans, saying what a run, you're taking it to the grave. And yeah, but to miss out on the playoffs, I'd prefer our cup run, I'll be honest. But I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't want promotion.
And a lot of things you said this year to me are one game at a time and never too high, never too low. Where did these sayings come from, and how do you think they affected the group this season?
You can't be ever too high or ever too low. In football, it has a way of kicking you in the bollocks. When you're flying and flying and flying, the inevitable is going to happen, and the footballing gods are going to go, no, here you go, ground yourself. And I always find it where you see me after the AS Wimbledon game, you see me after St Albans game, didn't have to drag me off the ceiling. You see me after the Bournemouth game, it was very calm, collected. That's something that's always stuck with me, never too high, never too low. One game at a time, come in probably, we'll start the season, it was always a run of one. That was always our focus, run of one. Focus on the next game being the biggest game, and it was standing us in great stead. It was standing us in unbelievable stead. We went off the back of Chesterfield, losing Will Evans and Nathan Ashmore, and Nathan Ashmore for a season, you're thinking you're destined to obviously fall off it. But we didn't. We took one game at a time. We had a run of one, and we went on an unbelievable run. Unfortunately, as you said, after the Everton game, didn't win in 10. That's where we fell short. And like I said, I'm going to do clusters of reviews throughout the season. People available at said time. Did we have a full squad when we was going into the run-in in terms of the better run? Did we have limited personnel available? Was there too many suspensions? What was the pattern of games? Saturday to Saturday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. These are all things that I'll dissect and try and take something from. Whether I do or not is another thing. But for me, I look back on this season with so much fondness as opposed to bitterness. Yes, we could have been in the playoffs, but we're not. Yes, we could have got into the top 3, but we're not. We actually went to Boreham for 1-1-0. We actually went to Everton and played a competitive fixture in the 5th round of the FA Cup. These are all things that happened and were factual. So, yeah, I'm a glass half full guy. I have to say, I'm very positive. I love positivity, and my instant reaction to this season so far has been one of overwhelming joy, because you, the other media guys, the S&C, the analysts, the whole staff, the day-to-day staff, we went in on numbers up to Everton, and that will last with us for the rest of our lives.
Season's not quite over yet. We've still got one game left. Solihull on Sunday. What can we expect to see from the Moors?
A very good team. Very, very good team. Well drilled. 2-3 ways of playing. Can play through like a knife through butter. Can go into their front men, can spin it in behind. Make the right decisions 9 times out of 10. Has a core of experience running through their team. Howe, Gudger, Storer, Rooney. Yeah, I think they're an excellent side, and I think he's done a fantastic job. I think the club now is on the map hugely. They are obviously the only team in the top 7 currently that hasn't tasted EFL, and I genuinely believe they'll have a chance. I don't think many teams will want to play them. With their firepower, you've got Hudlin and Dallas that he marries up, you've got Rooney and Newton that he marries up, you've got Sabara and Maycott that play off, Riley that plays off. I know Osborne's suspended now, I think it's quite harsh, I have to say, but he was dovetailing with Storer. You've got Clark at right back. Yeah, I think they're a very, very good team. I think he's a very good manager, and we have to go some to get a result on Sunday, because, look, I see similarities to them in Stockport. The way they play, the way they open the pitch up, their movement, their fluidity. So yeah, for me, very, very good outfit. One that I'll have as an outside bet to go and win the playoffs.
And flipping the coin to our side, can we expect to see any surprise additions to our squad?
Possibly. Listen, I've spoken to Femi at length. I'd love to give Femi 10-15 minutes just to give him the last hurrah in terms of this season. We're looking, he's progressing with us next year, so that's not an issue. But my point being is, he's worked ever so hard, but I think it would be foolish to do that. And I've got to have a conversation with him, so I've got to pull him before this goes out, because I don't want him to listen to this before I tell him. Yeah, I just think that we need to have a little bit more of a cooler head and a little bit more understanding that he has been out for a long time. It's a competitive fixture. They're going for 3rd spot. They're not going to relent. It's not like they're nailed on for that position. They're going to come off the gas. So that's the only real surprise. We had Reece around the ground today. He was running around the outside of the training pitch today. He's back in after 4 weeks since Aldershot. Rico's going to see a specialist today to see the longevity of his knee and where he's at with regards to next year. Rex is still injured. Jammer's obviously suspended. So Connor Stevens has done his wrist, and he's been about with the academy and coaching. So at the minute, no, there's no surprises. Very much going in with the same squad that travelled to Grimsby on Tuesday night, which is more than competitive, is getting 4 points out of Stockport and Wrexham in a bank holiday weekend. They didn't have no changes in terms of, other than Jammer. He played obviously the 90 at Stockport and 30 before the sending off. But yeah, there would be a very competitive squad to go toe to toe with Solihull to aim to get 9th. That's our aim, and aim to get the best, like second best goal difference in the division. Because I was told a stat by a friend of the club that it would be up there in the top 20 best goal difference, goal for goal in terms of goal for game ratio in the National League since it's been going. So for us, that's a brilliant return. I know Halifax have absolutely romped it, and obviously us and Stockport are very close, but I can't envisage a 4-4, 5-4 win or draw on Sunday against them two sides. So let's hope we finish in second best defensive record, because I think that's something that we can enjoy, because the majority of them are in the building next year.